Hey guys, it's Brittany. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a discussion video following the season 7 premiere, which was last night. I feel like I have since recovered, but I feel like it's coming in waves. Like I feel like I'm over it, and then I think about it again, and then a little thing or something like that will make me cry even more. And then I've watched some other people's reactions, and then that makes me cry more. And incredibly, 100,000 of you have watched my reaction video, which I was not expecting at all. If you look at my other Walking Dead videos, they don't get a fraction of that. So thank you if you left a nice comment. And if you did not leave a nice comment, then I don't really care. I'm over it. But I just want to say one little thing about my reaction video. You know, some people said because I look at the camera a lot, they automatically think this is a fake reaction. But something I want to just clarify is that when I look at the camera, I'm treating it as if I'm looking at you guys, because we're all in this together. We're all watching it, and I know that you guys are going to be watching the video. So if you notice, I also look off to my left all the time, which is my mom. She's always sitting off camera to my left, so I'm like looking at both of you guys, like super into it. And yeah, so that's just something I wanted to explain. It's not because I'm like, ooh, a camera's on me. It's because I'm like, you guys. Yeah, so just thought I'd get that out of the way. And let's move on to discussing this episode. This was by far the most depressing and dark episode I think we've ever seen. The one thing that keeps striking me the most about it is that it drove the point home how bleak and unforgiving and just so dark. And I'm trying to think, I took some notes, so I'm trying to see what words I used here. Yeah, just like brutal. It just painted this terrible picture of what their reality is. And the thing that makes me cry so much and why I just went off the walls is because every time I watch something like this where you get invested in the characters and the stories, is I try to put myself in their situation. Obviously, The Walking Dead is not real. That's another thing that's pissing me off. The comments that are like, it's just a TV show, calm the hell down. It's like, yeah, everyone knows The Walking Dead isn't real, buddy. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, let us have this. We're a fandom. We do this once every Sunday. We get into it. We're invested. This is what we do. Some of us react more strongly than others. Deal with it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, don't have to be so freaking rude. But anyway, that whole thing really gets me. You know, just putting myself in their shoes and imagining what that could be like. That is what brings me also to the fact that, you know, the people that say, you know, it's just a TV show, who cares, get over it. Like, why do you think TV shows, movies, books, sad songs, I don't know, why any of that exists in the first place? You know what I mean? It exists to entertain us, yeah, but to make us feel something, to make us think, to make us get invested in these stories and these characters. Because every time I see another comment that says, you know, it's just a TV show, I'm like, yeah, okay, but do you really think that Robert Kirkman created these characters and that Scott Gimple and whoever else is writing and producing this show are spending all their time doing this so that we don't care? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that makes no sense. They want us to feel for these characters. They want us to react emotionally. They want us to feel something. And you know what I mean? And that's what we're doing. And that's what my reaction was, you know? So that's just something that bothers me when people say it's just a TV show. Like, yeah, well, you know what? I don't know. You know? But that is a big thing where we're supposed to care about these people, and to see them go in such a brutal way is what makes it so much worse. That's another one of my points. It's that we're not seeing them die by a zombie. You know what I mean? Like, people are saying, oh, there's been a lot of gruesome deaths. You know, Noah is a very big one people have been mentioning. It's the zombie apocalypse, and they did not die by zombies. They died by a human's hands, okay? in the most brutal way you could ever imagine. And, you know, one of them is a freaking strong guy, all right, who did take that like a champ, I swear. I mean, he was so brave. And then the other one is the Atlanta Five. Like, the Atlanta Five is down to 4. This is freaking Glenn Rhee, okay? Literally day one from his voice at the end of the episode. Being, just right from that moment, he was our buddy. He was everyone's buddy. He saved Rick. Like, you know what I mean? And he's been there this whole time. You know, if you've been watching it live for the last 7 years, hello? Like so many people have felt like, you know, they lost a family member, they lost a brother, they lost a friend or something, you know? I saw so many grown adults saying they were taking off work today because they knew that they were going to be so emotionally and mentally unstable because of this. So it's like, yeah, like this is a big deal. Pop culture and stuff like that, and movies and books and everything, they affect you. Like, okay, go ahead and judge me, but my favorite movie is Titanic. Okay? Why is my favorite movie Titanic? That movie makes me bawl like a baby every single time I watch it, yet I somehow keep subjecting myself to it. And it's because it's like, it's a metaphor for life, you know? And I feel like that's what this whole show is. It's like this twisted reality that just makes you appreciate things more. I mean, I don't know what it is. But you know, it's like, I love Titanic so much, I went and got a quote from the movie tattooed on me. That says, "Make it count." Because that movie made me realize I gotta make every moment of my life count, okay? And it's like The Walking Dead is the same sort of thing for people. Like, you know, it's like fandoms and stuff like this mean a lot to people. So, you know, I don't agree with the people that are just so quick to be like, you know, shut up. Like it's a TV show, you idiot. It's like, have some respect, have some decency. Like, God, it's like, it's not bothering you. God. You know, if you can tell a good story, you know, people are going to react. And, you know, people definitely did. You know, you can't help but like Glenn. He was just this likable guy. He was a pizza dude, you know, and he had a baby on the way, and Maggie's just over there. And it's like, thinking of all that stuff and then watching the scene, it's just heartbreaking. And the thing that gets me as well is that Glenn, when he went out, like Stephen Yin said on Talking Dead, was that he went out not thinking of himself. He said that quote, "Maggie, I'll find you," which I'm going to start crying again. It hits me every time I watch it, because you know that this is it. This is Glenn's last moments. Like, he's not making it out of this one. Like, you know what I mean? He's had so many close calls. And, you know, to the point where it feels like, oh, Glenn's a cat. He got 9 lives. Like, he's not going down. Like, you know? And to see him in that way is just devastating. And I'm sorry. Like, it's hard to keep my thoughts in check here. But I guess that brings me to my next point of how, you know, people say, we all knew it was going to be Glenn and Abraham. Like, stop being so shocked. Like, everyone knows Glenn dies in the comics. If you've read the comics, you've seen that. And it's like, yes, you know, I've read the comics, okay? It's completely different. Like, and if you're like a really big comic fan and you feel like the comics did it better justice or whatever, I mean, no offense. But it is so much more impactful and disturbing when you see it happening in the flesh to a human on your screen, especially Stephen Yeun. We've grown to love this guy and his little face, you know what I mean? It's like, we're not going to see him again, and it's like, to see him in that state, you know, in that exact clip that they showed of him that mirrored that moment in the comics exactly, it was a lot to see it realized. And that's why it's like, it doesn't matter if you already knew. It doesn't matter if you've read the comics. It doesn't matter if you read a spoiler. When you see it, it's real. And you realize, you know, there's no getting out of this. And there are so many little things. There was one thing that I didn't notice, which was Abraham threw up a little sneaky deuces, a little sneaky peace sign to Sasha right before it happened, and that's why Sasha kind of like gasps, because she sees it and she knows that that's him like saying goodbye, whatever, love you, I don't know. And it's like, it's just so it's too much. It's just so much to take in. One of the saviors that we see taking a picture. They're in the background. It's like Rick is kind of like grieving or something, and in the background you can see a savior snapping Polaroids of Abraham and Glenn, their bashed heads. And that got me, okay, because we all remember that scene from the compound raid where Glenn looked at that wall of Polaroids, and now his bashed head and body is going to be on that wall. He's one of the Polaroids now. He saw his fate. And it's just, like, I can't stress it enough, the little things they did to just drive the point home of how terrible this is. And then right after that, as they're leaving, we see a zombie come out of the woods. And not only that, it's like this whole scene was just very about humans, you know what I mean? You were totally forgetting about the fact that they were in a zombie apocalypse. At least I was. So then a zombie comes walking out of the woods, and you're like, seriously? Right? Like, they still have to deal with that crap? Like, you know what I mean? We still have to deal with zombies? Like, this is the world that they live in? And then just on top of that, the zombie goes over and eats their brain matter on the ground, and it's so freaking sad. And it's like, you realize nothing is sacred in that world, and it's just freaking terrible. But it was done so artfully horrible to the point that it was like good. And of course, the dinner table scene with Negan's voiceover. That was too much. In a lot of the reactions I've seen, that's where a lot of people lose it. Because you're just reminded of how nothing is sacred. You can't have anything. You can't have nice things anymore in this world. And that's what Negan's voiceover is saying. And it's just so sad the way he's like, I bet you all thought you were going to grow old together, blah, blah, blah. Which obviously that's what Glenn and Maggie wanted. Sasha and Abraham could have become something. And that's what you see at the dinner table. Glenn holding their son, which we don't even know if she's going to have a miscarriage or not. Probably, because that is way too much stress for a pregnant woman to endure. You know what I mean? And because of this one a-hole, Negan, they can't have any of that. And it's just so heartbreaking, that scene. I mean, I thought I was done, and then they cut to that. And I was like, I'm done with the music in the background and Negan's voiceover, and it's too much. It just really, really sucks. And of course, then we had that scene with Carl where he was about to get his hand cut off. And I swear to God, like 10 times throughout this episode, I thought that Rick was going to get his hand chopped off because he gets his hand chopped off in the comics. And then when Negan ever said, like, kid, come over here, I was like, holy crap, they're going to do it to Carl instead. Like, I seriously was like, oh my God, they're going to cut his arm off or hand. He's going to have no eye, no hand. I was like, this is just, I was blown away at that point because I really thought they were going to do it. And I was like, that's it. They've upped the ante. This is a complete other level. This is sadistic territory now. It was just crazy. And that was really the last straw for Rick, because I feel like even after Abraham died, after Glenn died, he was still thinking for some reason, like, it's okay, like, I'm Rick, I'm strong, we'll defeat this person. But it's like, that was like the last straw where he was like, okay, yeah, never mind. Like, there's no getting out of this. And to see Rick break down that way, like, Andrew Lincoln was crying so bad, he had, like, snot coming out of his nose, and I was just like, oh, Rick, I feel so bad for this character, like, you know what I mean? Oh, it was just too much. And the fact, it really highlighted how much Carl has grown and how freaking awesome he is. I'm sorry, Carl is the best, and he better get his arc in season 7, and people better start appreciating him more. He's pretty much the only person in the group that has faced Negan with, like, nothing, just, like, totally numbing himself to it. And when he ever just said to Rick, Dad, just do it, just do it. It's like, I don't have an eye, what's a hand, And just to see Rick that broken is just how you really know that this is an entirely new chapter. And that's what brings me to another point. I forgive AMC for the cliffhanger. I really do. I feel like it made perfect sense to have the deaths be highlighted so much in a season premiere as opposed to a finale. And I remember like Gimple or someone said that. They were like, no, it'll make sense once you see it as the premiere episode because it sets the tone for season 7 and everything. And some people were like, no, you could still set the tone for season 7, ending on season 6. But I don't see it like that anymore. Like I used to think that, but I have, seeing what we just saw, I feel like that has no place in the season 6 finale. It would have been way too much. Way too much, okay? I think it was actually very tasteful the way they did it. Of course, it was torture to wait for 6 months, which is why I erupted so bad in my reaction. I don't think people like really understand that. I mean, it was day in and day out of theories, of discussion videos, of rumors, of predictions, of everything for 6 months, and you're just, again, it doesn't matter that we were sitting with the names Glenn and Abraham for that long. It killed to see it actually be confirmed. I completely agree that it was right to have that be the premiere episode because season 6, it was ramping up to it. You know what I mean? Season 6 was, we had a lot going on in season 6, we had Carl losing his eye and, Glenn in the dumpster and, all those close calls and, more character study stuff with Morgan and, what else? We had Rick and Michonne finally getting together, that episode 10, where it was like, oh my gosh, a reminder of what they're fighting for, and Rick thinking, we got this, like it's over, and just being completely unaware of what was ahead. I feel like season 6 was the end of one chapter, and now season 7 with this banger of a premiere is the beginning of a completely new chapter. And I think that's why they did it that way. And I don't think people should be mad at them for that anymore, really, because it completely makes sense to me. So obviously, I love The Walking Dead so much, and I plan on doing a reaction every Sunday. Hopefully, this will be my first season ever where I'm doing reactions every week, so I'm looking forward to it. I decided to start filming my reactions because I know it might be difficult for some people to believe that I really react that way even when there's not a camera on me, but I do. Like, that's one of the reasons why I decided I should start filming my reactions because they're kind of hilarious. Like, when I watch them back, I kind of like laugh because I don't even realize how intense I get while I'm watching the show until I watch the footage back and I'm like, oh, Brittany, like what? At the same time, I just kind of laugh and I figured, you know what, I should share these because I'm sure other people will either relate or get a kick out of it or something. Part of me is kind of mad I didn't start recording my reactions earlier because if you could have seen me when Carl lost his eye and, it was the Jesse, Ron, Sam, like domino effect scene, I was genuinely jumping up and down. I was screaming, I was crying. When I saw that moment with Carl, I was like, they did it! They did it! It was too much. And then obviously when Rick and Michonne got together, I lost it. I'm Rick and Michonne for life, And I'd actually read spoilers about that. But those are the kind of spoilers I don't mind. Like, it didn't really ruin anything for me. Like, I read the spoiler and it was like, Rick and Michonne have sex? And I was like, okay, well, can't wait to see that. I was excited, Like, that wasn't one that, bothered me. But for this, the deaths, I stayed away from any and all spoilers. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why I erupted so bad. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely want to maybe try to do Q&As or something like that now that the season is here. Just feel free to sound off in the comments. A full episode reaction is coming soon. It just takes me a while to edit and, do jump cuts because I don't want it to be freaking hour long, So hopefully I'll have that up by tomorrow. Again, was not expecting that much traffic on my Negan isolated clip. But thank you for watching. I've noticed I've gained some more subscribers, so hello if you are one of them. I'm excited for this season to get going. Oh man, it's just going to be so freaking different. Like, it is a different show. And if that wasn't clear from the premiere, I don't know what else could have driven it home. So yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope to hear from you down below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video, which will probably be next Sunday. All right, so bye.